who to you at this point in the season, with just a few weeks left, is most likely to win the MVP?
So I have a take with this, and I feel pretty strongly about it. And I don't know if you agree or not, but we'll see here. If the 49ers win out and they are the 1 seed in the NFC, I think it should be Brock Purdy. The reason for this is because when you look at the MVP, a lot of people hate the award because it usually goes to the quarterback of the best team, right? In that case, this is what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. It's not, for me, it's not just that. Brock Purdy on the 49ers right now is the most valuable player because he's the quarterback of the best team in the NFL, sure. But if you take him off that team, I don't think they do the same thing as they've been doing. You take McCaffrey off that team, right? A lot of people have McCaffrey in the MVP talk. You take him off the team, I still think the 49ers probably win out and still win most of the games that he's out of, right? You take Brock Purdy out, I don't think you get that same result. That's why it's most valuable, not best player on that team. No shit, he's not the best player on his team. He's not even a top 6 player on that 49ers roster, right? But he's the most valuable to them. And he's the most valuable because they're the best team in the league, and he matters the most on that roster. And that's my take with it. I don't know if you agree or disagree. My sleeper would be Josh Allen, but
yeah, I think you make a strong argument. And while I think, Brock himself is saying, hey, like Christian McCaffrey is the MVP. I mean, he's having the best season out of any running back right now, but I think you're right that that doesn't imply he's the most valuable. I mean, honestly, if we're having a discussion about that 49ers team and who's the most valuable, you could I was going to say, you can make a pretty good conversation about Trent Williams. To me, I think after all the dust settles, if you're going to give it to a quarterback, you have to have a conversation of who's been the most consistent and who has put their teams in the best positions to win. And so you mentioned Josh Allen. The way he's been playing lately, yeah, you could definitely make that argument. You also have to reconcile the fact that there's probably 3 or 4 games that the Bills lost as a direct result of Josh Allen's, lack of ability of taking care of the football, high interceptions and critical moments, things like that. If I had to give it to one person right now, it would be a quarterback as well. But I think the quarterback playing the most consistent football right now in a team that has had 3 of their running backs go out with knee injuries, it's got to be Lamar Jackson. Because he is their running threat. He's crushing it, distributing the ball this year to his weapons. And this Baltimore Ravens team that is at the top of the AFC, I do not think is at the top of the AFC without Lamar Jackson. And so I think he's making a very strong case. And I don't think a lot of people are talking about it. But if the Ravens keep playing football the same way that they've played consistently the entire season, I think you can make a pretty strong case.
What happens when Brock Purdy beats him head-to-head next week, right? Because that's the kind of conversation. Now, if Lamar wins that game and plays well in that game, now you have my attention.
Sure.
I don't anticipate that happening, but it could. And if that happens, then I think that your take will age well.
Well, we're gonna get right into it, and that is the final header of Christmas Day on Monday night. I don't know about you, but that's about as exciting as it gets. I cannot think of a better matchup.
Another point to remember in this race is the Bills are not out of winning their division. So if the Bills win out and Miami loses this week to Dallas and then loses to the Bills in the last game of the season, I think Josh Allen would be the MVP. If he plays like he's been playing the last couple games for the last few weeks, because Josh Allen statistically is by far putting up the best numbers as a quarterback in this league right now, even with the turnovers. Like, he's just old-fashioned gunslinger. He's going to throw some turnovers. He's going to make some bad mistakes, but he's also making so many good plays that it's making up for it, and then some. And yeah, they've lost some games, like you said, and he's definitely a direct result, of those losses are a direct result of his mistakes, but he's also playing really, really well in a lot of these games, and his numbers are ridiculous. So if he finds a way to win the division and have the Bills back in the playoffs hosting, given everything that's happened, I feel like numbers-wise it's going to point to him. But
funny conversation we're having right now, too. We started this with, it's just kind of a quarterback award. Like, I wish other skill players, got a little bit more of a
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, you
also
could
should be in that conversation. I know he's hurt
100%.
right now, but if he gets over 2,000, I mean, he's doing things that
How
we
do you
just
make an
never.
argument against most valuable player if you have one skill player as a result of
Did you see
2,000
what he said
games?
too about it? Did you see what
What?
when they asked him? He said, "Do you think you should be the MVP?" He said, "Nah." He said, "I'm not even the best player on my team." And then they said, and then everyone kind of looked at him like, "What?" And he said, "Alec Ingold is our most valuable player to this team. He's the best player on our team. He does the most for our team." And I thought that was a pretty cool take. From I'm not a huge
I
Tyreek
was
Hill
gonna,
fan.
I was gonna say, do you
I
think
don't think
that
he's a
was
great
tongue in
person.
cheek, or did he
I
mean
think he
that
was
well?
just I think he was just saying it because he knew people probably would like to hear, it, and maybe he has a lot of respect for this guy. But I thought that was a good thing that he said, and I don't know if he was doing it out of just like to be sarcastic. I think he was being genuine, but I thought it was pretty
Well,
cool of him to
it's weird.
say.
He comes out with hot takes every once in a while about his team, and in the moment, like he says, it's like, okay, like what are you talking about, dude? But then there is actually like a level of like genuine, like the thing I'm remembering right now is the conversation around Tua, right? Rewind 2 years, and there's a lot of speculation around, is Tua even a good quarterback or not? And he goes, well, Tua's a more accurate passer than Patrick Mahomes. And everybody was like, what the hell is this guy saying? Right? Like, come on. Like, let's cut it out. Let's stop messing around. And Tua comes out that next season and very high completion percentage, and the offense is incredibly efficient. Am I gonna say, Tua and Pat Mahomes comps are fair? No, obviously not. But like, everybody was gawking at that take that he made, and then you see the season happen, and you're like, okay, I can kind of see like what he was trying to say in that particular situation. So